What's up, family? It is KG Smooth, and we are wrapping up Black Business Month. All month we have been giving you the jewels and the gems for Black Business Month. But today, we're giving you the real on real estate. And so, who we have with us today? Oh, I'm glad that you asked. We have Diane Green, the CEO of Nydan Group, who's going to be joining us. Uh, she is amazing, and I cannot wait for her to tell us her journey and how you got started. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, how are you? So it's Deanna.
Deanna. Excuse me.
It's
Excuse me.
okay.
Deanna Green. There might be some relation here. I'm a Green too. I'm a Green with no E.
Oh no, so I just had a conversation with the other guy that is green as well. We think we might have some relation.
It might be something. So yeah, Deanna, thank you for being with us this afternoon. So let's get it going. Like, how did you get started in real estate? Tell us your journey.
So it's 25 plus years. I actually started in property management. I lived at a property and would go in to pay my rent. Very young at that age. And so they approached me about being a leasing agent. And one of the perks was I would get free rent. So as you can imagine, I was a single mom, young mom at that time, still in school, and rent being the biggest expense. And so I was like, okay, I didn't know anything about it. Definitely was not on my plans as far as my future was concerned. My goal was to go to Howard and become an entertainment attorney. And so I started working there just for that particular benefit and quickly moved up the ranks from leasing agent to property manager. Stayed in that industry for about 10 years and excelled all the way up to being president over a property management company. Moved here to Texas in 2008, literally during when Hurricane Ike was coming through. So I wasn't quite sure if Houston was supposed to be for me and my family moving during a hurricane. But even in North Carolina, my husband and I had rental properties. So real estate has always, for the lack of better words, been in my blood. And then I got here to Texas and I did 8 years working for a corporate housing company. So still in real estate, property management. Finally got the courage back up to get truly back into real estate. Because as I said, with 2008, that was also when the financial bubble and the real estate market burst. So we lost properties at that time, had to start all over again. So I understand the journey, the struggle, and got my real estate license in 2016. Started Nydan Real Estate Group. 2 years later, we purchased a We Buy Ugly Houses franchise and created Nydan Investment Properties. And 2 years later, literally the month that COVID hit, created the last leg of our brokerage firm, which is Nydan Lending Group, which is where the money resides. And right. And so, over those years, just, I love everything. And, I coined myself the boss chick of real estate, and I mean that.
Yeah, nice. I've got a lot of friends that have transitioned over into real estate, and it seems to be like the go-to career move now. So for those that want to get started in real estate, like, what would you say would be the first step to get into real estate?
So very good question. And I would actually say they need to understand or know which parts of real estate do they want to be in, right? Because there's several different arenas of real estate, whether you just want to be an investor, and that's if you want to be an active or more of a passive investor. If you truly want to be a real estate agent, do you want to move into being a broker and actually having a team up underneath you? Do you want to be on the development side of real estate? So the first thing you really need to know is what parts of real estate do you want to be involved in? And my thing is if it's really just about it being a generational wealth type of vehicle for you, but it's not your passion, then that's where you would want to partner with a company like ours, where, like I said, everything is real estate driven for us. You've got expertise, you've got experience, as far as our team is concerned, to help you. And then once you determine which part of real estate you want to be in, then you're going to need to pay for that education. What I see a lot of times that happens is, again, with social media being so rampant and prevalent out there, that nobody wants to pay for that education. They want to go out there and get it free. Well, you're going to pay for it some kind of way, because most of the time you're going to lose some money, your time, and then it becomes discouraging. And I see a lot of people fall out of real estate. And it's really just because they didn't follow the right steps getting into it. So getting a coach, getting a mentor, going and getting the education if there's schooling that's involved, shadowing people, and really doing and vetting. I'm seeing a lot now on the news where people are now going to, jail for swindling people that didn't know how to get into real estate and taking their money. And a big part of that is, it's because they didn't do their research. You got to vet these people.
Yeah, because it's speaking of swindling, when you said that, it just reminded me of back in 07, 08 with that crash and those
the mortgage,
the subprime mortgage loans and things. Yeah. So let's address the elephant in the room, Deanna. I mean, you are a boss, you are a Black woman, a CEO in real estate, which is a male-dominated industry. What is it like to be in such a white male-dominated industry? I can only imagine, the hurdles and the comments that you have been through. What is that experience like? How have you handled that?
Well, a big part of it is, as you say, when you look a certain kind of way, where a lot of people may think that it's advantageous, it's not always the case, because I have to show up and maybe the looks get me in the door. But what's going to keep me there is obviously my knowledge, my experience, and the fact that I can command a room and actually know what I'm talking about. So I make sure that I stay educated. I'm reading articles all the time. I'm watching videos. I'm reading books. I'm trying to definitely make sure that when I'm in those rooms, I can hold my own. Most of the time when we show up, they don't want to take us serious at first. They don't want to give us the opportunity to actually partake in the conversation. So I have a type A personality, if you can't already tell. I'm an alpha female. So I actually rise to the challenge. I look forward to it. I look forward to coming in and kind of being that silent threat. And then once I open my mouth, I tend to not have any issues at that time. Presentation is obviously a key in real estate, especially when you're trying to deal with developers and construction people and the banks, and then other, males in this industry. It also plays a key part on, what you drive. I hate to say it, but that's the case. You want to be selling $1 million homes and dealing with $1 million deals. There's a certain way that you have to show up. So you got to invest into yourself personally as well.
I like that you don't run away from the said intimidation. You walk towards it and you challenge that. Like that is inspiring within itself.
Thank you.
So what are some of the biggest challenges that you've faced in your own personal business growth? Because a lot of people, they'll have this misconception that, okay, I've got the knowledge, I can go in and boom, it's just going to happen.
Right.
Normally not the case. So what are some of the personal business growths that you have faced?
Well, I actually failed at my first business here in Texas. Not necessarily just all on me, but it was because some of the things that I just spoke on. I had some investors approach me about starting a corporate housing business. And because I was so excited about my first real opportunity at entrepreneurship, I didn't vet those investors. I didn't do my own research. And once I got into it, I had brought the contacts, the business concept. I literally birthed that baby. And when I had to let it go after 2 years because my health was failing, my mental stability wasn't intact, I was making everybody at my house miserable. That was a very humbling experience. And I truly think that it's what has me being as successful as I am now, because I did experience that. So if you're not open from a business standpoint on not being able to take some failures, some licks and some bruises, then entrepreneurship is not for you. So I also had to learn how to be my own cheerleader, right? I had to teach myself how to take my own hand and pat my own self on the back, because I wasn't getting that anymore since I wasn't in the corporate arena. Transitioning with real estate, as I tell a lot of people, real estate is a great wealth vehicle to be in. You just need to know which side of the scale to be on based on where it's tipping at that time. So I've had to learn how to pivot. That was hard. I'm not somebody that really likes change very well, because I feel like if I do a certain number of steps, then things should automatically go the right way. So when, those bumps in the roads in real estate have hit, the right now interest rates, we don't know if this is a buyer's or seller's market right now. It's very uncertain times right now. So those have been some of the challenges. But what I feel has allowed us to persevere is the fact that we don't have all of our eggs in one basket. That is something I would definitely say I had to learn the hard way. And that was, everything can't be real estate. That's why we have the investment piece. That's why we have the lending piece. That's why I have my women's empowerment platform. I got to make sure that I can eat off of several plates.
Indeed. And just a quick reset to everybody that's just joining us. Welcome as we celebrate Black Business Month, being brought to you by the Black McDonald's Operating Association. We are talking to Deanna Green, who is the CEO of Nydan Real Estate Group. So what would you say are some of the biggest misconceptions in real estate?
That you're going to be a millionaire as soon as you get your real estate license. No, real estate school does not teach you really how to be a realtor. Real estate school teaches you how to pass the real estate test. Mm-hmm. But the real grit and grind comes after you pass that exam and now you say, I'm a realtor. Now you really get to see what you made of. Or do you truly know how to market yourself? Are you really a people person? Do you know how to really budget your money? Because you think about it, transactional wise, you can have a lot of transactions going on, but I tell my agents, do not count that money until closing day and it actually funds. So you've got to be able to know how to manage your money and live within your means, definitely within the first couple of years. Don't believe that family and friends, all these people that you assume that are going to be so excited when you get your real estate license and are going to just throw business at your way, it's going to happen. Because I didn't build my business, family and friends initially. They don't want to unfortunately, they don't want to take the chance on you being a brand new realtor out there. So that's some of the misconceptions. The expense that comes along with it. That's the other thing. Real estate school does not prep you for how expensive it is to hold your real estate license before you've even closed on your first transaction.
That is a bar right there. So with everything that's going on right now in the housing market, you turn on the news and you see this, that, and the third. I saw the other day how, the Dow was down like 650 points. And so there's some uncertainty that's going on. What are your thoughts on everything that's happening right now in the housing market?
Well, like I said, the biggest thing that we're experiencing is most of the time you can tell whether it's a buyer's or seller's market. And right now that's not the case. And a big part of that is because 2021 really set the bar extremely high. You saw bidding wars going on with properties. You saw people waiving appraisals because they needed that house because interest rates were so low. And now you got interest rates going up at an all-time high. We are starting to see where hopefully it's going to level out here, but our new norm for maybe the next 18 to 24 months could very well be in the 5 to 6% range. And that's even with individuals that got A1 credit. When I say A1 credit, I'm talking 750 or higher. So even though you can still possibly get a loan with a 620 credit score, just imagine what that interest rate is going to be. That's less house for you to be able to buy. Then on the sales side of it, I just literally, as much as I don't like to give away business, I have an ethical duty to my clients, obviously, to put their interest before mine. I had to tell a client, I'm like, this is not the best time for you to sell. When we started the process in February, it was an amazing time. but you can just see how just in a short amount of time, the market can change. And I told her, I said, I'd be doing you a disservice having you sell this house because you're not going to find anything nowhere equivalent with interest rate or your payments. So you're going to have to sit tight right now. What I am advising those clients is if your house appreciated the way that so many houses did last year, then what you could actually benefit from maybe doing is either a HELOC or a cash out refi. But again, there's the educational piece on that, because if your current mortgage rate, interest rate is 2.99, and yeah, you want to take $40,000, $50,000 out, well, your new interest rate might be 6%.
Mm-hmm.
That's double. So now your mortgage payment is higher. Yeah, you got the cash. So there's a lot of moving pieces, which is why you this time I feel need to have an experienced realtor broker on your team to help you navigate. Now, if you are a landlord, you should be killing it right now. That's why we started increasing and going back to actually purchasing our rental properties, because right now and probably for the next 5 years, landlords are going to cash in. All of these people that can't afford to buy a house but want something really nice and new, they're willing to pay a mortgage rate for this house. So those landlords are getting, upwards to double what they were getting a year or two ago on the rent. And they're going to keep, if they're smart, they'll keep raising those rents.
Wow. You kept saying that, whether it's a buyers or sellers market, you've mentioned that term a few times. What do they actually mean when they say this?
So a buyer's market tends to be when inventory is high. So there's a whole lot of houses sitting on the market. It's a plethora of options. It's a buffet for buyers.
Okay.
So that becomes a buyer's market because they've got all of these options to choose from. Seller's market is the opposite. It's when inventory is low, which is where we were back last year. That's why sellers, it was so advantageous to be a seller, and you were getting these $30 and $40 over your asking price because inventory was low. A healthy market has at least about 6 months of available inventory out there. That levels the market out. But like last year, we were at like 1.7. So that's a big difference in many months, 1.7 months worth of inventory versus 6 months worth of inventory. So that's how you can gauge what type of market it is. Yeah.
A lot of times we talk about home ownership, that being the key to wealth within our community, especially with generational wealth, if it's a, house that's been passed down or whatnot. How should someone start their home ownership journey?
So, well, again, that depends on what their goals are, right? So I always say get your primary home first, because you got leverage there. If you buy that primary home at a really good rate and it appreciates, at a time frame where you're ready to go to your next level of purchasing real estate, you can leverage that by, like I said, doing a cash out refi and taking that money and actually using it for down payment on other properties. Because when you go and buy secondary or investment properties, the restrictions, there's a wide range of restrictions. You're going to automatically pay a higher interest rate because it's an investment property. And instead of being able to take advantage of the programs like the FHA, or if you're only having to do like 3.5% down or maybe 0% down on an investment property, out the gate, they're going to ask you for 20% down. So there's your cash right there going away. So I always say start with your primary residency first, get that. Then if you're going to do investment properties, here's the other thing that people don't do is get your business established, because you can buy that investment property in your business name. You're just a personal guarantor, but it's not showing up on your credit over here. Back years ago, everybody was putting it in their personal name. Well, then lenders got to a point where they started putting a max. So you could only do like 5 to 10 investment properties under your personal name, which increases your DTI. So many things get affected by it when it's in your personal name. So if you're going to do investment properties, start your business now. And then find lenders there are lenders out there that they actually don't even want that property in your personal name. They only want it in the business name.
Now She giving some gems, y'all. I hope y'all taking notes. Everybody that's watching. So the scandemic was very difficult for a lot of. I mean the pandemic. I mean the pandemic. I'm sorry.
Right.
Please forgive me. The scandemic was difficult for a lot of industries, and especially in real estate. So how did the Nydan Group, how did you all pivot during that time, during the pandemic?
Having the three different entities. So the real estate side of it actually did very well because, again, people were still buying and selling even during that time. So the real estate did well. And then the investment side of it, what we did is we added another arm to it, and we added our fix and flip division, because at that time there was a lot of individuals that needed to get out of their fix and flip. That's right. There's a lot of individuals that needed to get out of their home to avoid foreclosure. So they were willing to sell their home at a deeply discounted rate just to cover the debt that they owed to the bank. But not, obviously, they didn't want to blemish their credit. So our investment division was able to come in, offer cash, close within 7 to 14 days, get them out of that situation, buy the house deep enough, put $30,000, $50,000 into it. And then we rode the wave when we put it back on the market because inventory was low. So then now we had bidding wars on our properties because now we had valued them at a much higher rate.
Nice. So with you doing this, being the goddess of this real estate.
I like that.
Thank you. being the goddess of this real estate game. What would you say is the most rewarding part of being in this industry and doing what you do?
I'd say two things. One is being now a broker and developing a team, watching my new agents actually go out here and grow their brand and their business. I absolutely love the home buying, home selling process, walking and educating my clients from beginning to end. I stay in contact consistently with them even after the ink is dried on the contract. I always like to check in and say, now it's been 6 months, it's been a year. Are you still having this, great feeling about the fact that you bought this home or you sold that home? And then the second part is on my investment side. I have a coaching arm to the investment piece. So I coach women that want to get into the investment or investing world. So fix and flips, buy and holds. That's been a complete joy to me because, as you pointed out when we started this is not a female dominated industry. So helping women and women of color get into this space. And then also now we've got the JV part of our investment division. So we're actually helping people that have $25,000, $30,000 that is not performing well in the market. And we're actually putting them into investment deals that we're partnering with them. And we're giving guaranteed 10% return on their money. And we paid as high as 25%. So yeah, I'm truly about making sure that our people finally are brought to the table and actually have a seat at the table and have a voice at the table.
That's amazing. Any final words? I understand that you are about to step into the reality television space.
Yeah, I may have to have an off-bar conversation with you to figure out, because what I see on TV, it's like, oh Lord, is that what I really want to do?
Yeah. I had my my own little experience with reality television. I mean, I actually enjoyed, the experience, just learning the television lingo and how the magic is made and how it is. And people ask like, well, is it real? I'm like, well, yeah, it's half and half. Half of it is real, and then the other half you realize that it is a production,
right?
For entertainment purposes. So, so what do you have, or as much as you can speak on? Tell us what you got coming.
My women's platform is called Boss Chicks of Houston. I started it about 3 years ago, and we actually had our first conference this year. We received a day from the mayor. So June 4th is officially Boss Chicks of Houston Day. And a big part of me pitching a reality show was, one, to show a different narrative of women of color, and the fact that we truly can play well together in the sandbox. Contrary to what you see on TV, my group of ladies, we do not operate that way, right?
Yeah, because I was about to say there's another one that's on, and it's just like, well, damn, like I don't ever see them selling houses. Like, what's really good?
Come on now, speak on it, KG. Right. So our show is going to be Boss Chicks of Houston. It's going to focus on women in all types of arenas and industries. So we've got a woman that's in the male-dominated trucking industry. She's dominating that. We've got someone in home health care. We've got an esthetician. We have the guru to HR and business development. I come in with the real estate and the investing side of it. So it's going to touch on, I didn't want it to be a show where it was only real estate driven or, one specific industry, because that's not what all of us women represent, right? Not everybody wants to get into real estate. Not everybody wants to know about it. But there's a lot of women out there want to know how to get into this trucking industry. It's $1 billion industry, right? But it's hard to try to go and talk to a man and him take you seriously and actually want to give you the blueprint. And so having a female in that space that can understand what you're going through. So we are in where we're at our negotiating stage right now. We've got a couple of networks interested in it. So hoping to start filming maybe first quarter of next year, no later than second quarter. I've got a platform with that. So we have a website. It's getting ready to turn membership based because we want to also be able to offer mastermind classes and resources and partnerships. I want the women of Houston to be put on the map. We're going to start it here and then we're going to launch this. This is going to be, I'm going to already say it's going to be international. So just like we got a Housewives of Dubai, we're going to have a Boss Chicks of Dubai.
Hey, how about it? Listen, you just said it, so it is about to be. That's what it's gonna be. Deanna, shout out your social media so everybody can, follow you and continue to get some tips as we really appreciate you sharing your scholarship on real estate. I'm sure you have inspired a lot of folks. So give us your social.
So Instagram is the.deanna, DEANNA.green, just like the color or money. Same thing on Facebook and LinkedIn. And then as far as our business page, it's the Nydan, NYDAN Group. And that's the same on all of our platforms. And then the website is thenydangroup.com. And then my personal, where if you want some coaching on real estate, short-term rental, you can hit me at thedeannagreen.com.
Indeed. Deanna Green, CEO of the Nydan Real Estate Group. And thank you once again, as I said, for sharing your scholarship and just being a bright light today.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
This was amazing. And to everyone that's watching and listening, we appreciate you for tuning in every Thursday as we celebrate Black Business Month 2022. Shout out to Turner Chevrolet, to the Black McDonald's Operators Association, and of course, our guest today, the lovely Deanna Green of the Nydan Real Estate Group. Thank you all so much. I'm KG Smooth, and I will see you on the radio.
Bye, guys.